you for coming out. Thank you for doing the right thing and being here today. My name is Keren, and I'm representing the Albany chapter of Jewish Voice for Peace, a national organization that envisions a world where all people from the U.S. to Palestine live in freedom, justice, equality, and dignity. I am an Israeli citizen who was raised in Israel and left at the age of 16 to avoid serving in the Israeli military. I am also the granddaughter of Holocaust survivors. My grandfather Yoski's entire family was murdered by Nazis in Poland when he was 11 years old. Yoski made it a point to share his story, visiting countless classrooms and speaking to 11-year-olds about the horrors of the Holocaust. He taught me, never again to anyone. Jewish Voice for Peace mourns deeply for over 1,300 Israelis killed, the families destroyed, including many of our own activists, and fears for the lives of Israelis taken hostage. Many are still counting the dead, looking for missing loved ones, devastated by the losses. We wholeheartedly agree with leading Palestinian rights groups. The massacres committed by Hamas against Israeli citizens are horrific war crimes. I am the mother of 2 young children. As a parent, my worst nightmare is losing my child. My heart breaks and wails for the thousands of parents who have woken up this week with a pit deep in their souls, a sinking, unbearable ache that will never, can never be healed when a child is gone. For 10 days I have been screaming. I have been crying. I have felt so alone, so it is so beautiful to see you here. I have been calling my heartless representatives who don't give a shit. I have been scrolling through eyewitnesses' accounts of mutilated, terrified, and dead children, and the lucky ones are injured and traumatized for the rest of their lives. No child should ever have to experience this. When we say never again, we also wonder what we would have done if we were alive during the atrocities of World War II. What would we have done to try and stop them? How loud would we cry out, and who would listen? This is that moment. Israel is exacting revenge on innocent, captive Palestinian civilians, on children, killing nearly 3,000, including 1,000 children so far, leveling entire neighborhoods, bombing emergency workers and civilian evacuation routes, displacing over 1 million people and cutting off their water, food, electricity, fuel, and internet. So they can't even rescue their injured and dying or share their stories with the world. And this is only the beginning. Right now, Gaza is in darkness. Right this second, they are digging with their bare hands in the dark. Israeli officials have sought to dehumanize Palestinians and are even attacking Israelis who are calling for a ceasefire and negotiations to release hostages. And our government is not only fanning the flames, it is pouring gasoline on the fire by giving more weaponry to support this carnage. Let us be clear. This is a genocide. This is the moment. And while our officials proudly declare their ironclad support for Israel, we say, not in our name! Not in our name! Not in our name! Not in our name! Israel has tried squashing Palestinian hope since 1948 through ethnic cleansing and occupation and displacement and discrimination. And despite Israel's military, economic, and political advantage, the Palestinians remain steadfast. This is a people whose radical commitment to life in the face of so much death is nothing short of heroic. The occupation must end. Palestinians must be able to live lives of safety, self-fulfillment, and dignity. No amount of bombs and bullets and illegal white phosphorus and dead children will ever get us closer to peace. Not for Israelis, and certainly not for Palestinians. We must channel our pain and our anguish into working for justice. This Wednesday, Jewish Voice for Peace and others are mobilizing a mass demonstration in Washington, D.C. to demand a ceasefire. If there is any way you can get out of work, find childcare, drop what you're doing, get to D.C. For those of you who are afraid to speak out, let me assure you, you have every right to speak out against injustice when you see it. In fact, you have a moral obligation to do so.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Israel does not speak for all Jews.
No!
Be bold. Be brave. Because someday you will have to answer to your children and grandchildren who will ask you where you were in October